Most people think becoming smart is about reading more books, collecting degrees, or memorizing quotes from successful people. That's the common belief we've all been sold. Get more information, and you'll automatically become wiser. But the truth is far more uncomfortable and far more powerful. Real intelligence isn't built from what you add to your mind, it's built from what you remove. Your impulses, your emotional reactions, your need for approval, your attachment to comfort. The ancient Stoics understood this long before modern psychology caught up. They believed that a person becomes truly dangerous the moment they master themselves, not the world around them. And today, neuroscience and behavioral psychology finally confirm what the Stoics knew all along. Self-control is the highest form of intelligence. Here on Stoic Pathway, we've broken down hundreds of Stoic lessons, human behavior studies, and real-world psychological patterns. So when we tell you these 8 teachings can make you dangerously smart, it's not hype. It's evidence, history, and human nature on your side. So if you're ready to challenge everything you've been taught about intelligence, if you're ready to step into the version of yourself that others can't manipulate, can't provoke, and can't predict, then these 8 ruthless Stoic lessons are exactly where your transformation begins. Let's get into it. Lesson number 1. Detach from outcomes, focus on actions. This Stoic lesson teaches one of the hardest truths in life. You can control your effort, but never the result. Most people tie their happiness, confidence, and identity to outcomes. Getting the job, earning the money, securing the relationship, achieving the goal. But Stoicism flips this upside down. It says, detach from the result. Anchor yourself only to the actions you can take today. Why? Because outcomes are influenced by timing, luck, other people's decisions, and forces far beyond your control. When you cling to outcomes, you chain your emotional state to things you cannot steer. But when you detach, you reclaim your freedom. So how do you live this? Start by shifting your daily questions. Instead of asking, will this work? Ask, am I doing the right thing right now? If you're building a business, don't obsess over how fast it grows. Focus on showing up every day, improving your product, and serving people. If you're trying to fix a relationship, don't obsess over whether the other person will finally change. Focus on communicating clearly, staying consistent, and improving yourself. You can even practice this in small moments. If you post something online, don't refresh the likes. If you're waiting for a reply, don't check your phone every 5 minutes. Pour your energy into the action, then step back. The less you chase the result, the more results tend to show up. This matters because attaching to outcomes makes you desperate, anxious, and easily manipulated. People who focus on results become slaves to disappointment. But people who focus on actions become unstoppable because their peace isn't dependent on how things turn out. And in the bigger picture, this lesson builds perfectly on the first one. When you stop reacting emotionally and stop clinging to outcomes, your mind becomes clearer, calmer, and far more powerful. But even this won't fully protect your power, because if you don't master the next lesson, your emotions will still control you from the inside. Lesson number 2, discipline beats motivation every time. Most people wait for motivation to strike before they take action. They think they need to feel ready before they start the workout, make the call, write the chapter, or fix their life. But Stoicism rejects this idea completely. The truth is simple. Motivation is a mood. Discipline is a decision. Motivation comes and goes like weather. It's unreliable, emotional, and temporary. Discipline, however, is the ability to do what must be done, especially when you don't feel like it. It's choosing long-term strength over short-term comfort. When you treat discipline as your default, you stop living on emotional autopilot and start shaping your life with intention. To practice this, start using non-negotiables, small daily tasks you complete no matter how you feel. For example, 10 minutes of reading, 20 minutes of exercise, sending that one important email. cleaning your space for 5 minutes before bed. These aren't meant to be big or dramatic. They're meant to train your brain to act without waiting for inspiration. Here's another method, the 2-minute discipline rule. If a task takes less than 2 minutes, start it immediately. This bypasses emotional hesitation and builds the habit of action. Or use identity discipline. Instead of saying, "I need motivation to go to the gym," say, "I am someone who trains." Identity creates consistency. Consistency creates results. Results create confidence. And confidence is the real reward of discipline. This teaching matters because without discipline, everything else collapses. Emotional control, detachment from outcomes, and focusing on what you can control all fall apart if you only act when you feel good. Discipline makes you reliable to yourself. It turns you into someone whose actions cannot be stopped by moods, circumstances, or excuses. But there's another layer to power that discipline alone can't teach. Because if you don't set boundaries, people will still drain your energy and control your time. That's why the next lesson is essential. Lesson number 3. Respect is earned by boundaries, not niceness. Most people believe that being nice is the path to being respected. They think if they're agreeable, pleasant, and accommodating, people will value them more. But Stoicism and life teaches the opposite. Niceness without boundaries doesn't earn respect. It invites disrespect. Being kind is good. Being generous is good. But being endlessly available, endlessly forgiving, and endlessly self-sacrificing teaches people to take you for granted. A boundary isn't a wall. It's a rule that protects your time, your emotions, your priorities, and your energy. And the moment you enforce your boundaries consistently, people start treating you differently. Not because you became mean, but because you finally became clear. Start small. Say no without giving a long explanation. If someone asks for a favor you can't or don't want to do, simply say, "I'm not available for that." If someone speaks to you disrespectfully, respond calmly with, "I don't communicate like that. Let's talk when we can both be respectful." If a friend only calls when they need something, stop responding immediately. Respond when you choose to, not out of obligation. If coworkers dump extra tasks on you, say, "That won't work for me. My plate is full." Boundaries don't require anger. They require firmness. They teach others how to treat you. And more importantly, they teach you how to treat yourself. And the real magic is this. People might resist at first, but the ones who truly value you will adjust. The ones who don't were never meant to stay. This teaching matters because without boundaries, everything you've built, your discipline, your emotional control, your clarity, gets drained by the demands and chaos of others. Boundaries protect your power from being stolen, whether intentionally or unintentionally. But even with strong boundaries, there's a deeper layer of self-protection. You must learn that you owe no one access to you. Nothing will sharpen your power more than that realization. Lesson number 4. You owe no one access to you. Most people grow up believing they must always be available emotionally, mentally, and physically. They think they owe everyone a reply, a conversation, an explanation, or a piece of their time. But the Stoic truth is this: you owe no one access to you. Not your energy, not your attention, not your presence. Your time is your most limited resource. Your mind is your most valuable asset, and your emotional space is your sacred territory. When you give these away freely, people begin to assume they're entitled to them. The moment you understand that access to you is a privilege and not a right, your entire life shifts. Practice this by selectively choosing who gets your time. If someone drains you, stresses you, or constantly burdens you with negativity, limit contact. You don't need a dramatic explanation. Silence is enough. If someone calls or texts you at all hours, train yourself to respond when you choose to, not when your phone lights up. If people expect you to drop everything for their problems, say, "I can't talk right now," without guilt. If someone demands emotional labor from you, validation, comfort, constant reassurance, ask yourself whether they give anything back. If the answer is no, step back. You protect your power by protecting your access points, your time, energy, attention, and emotional bandwidth. This doesn't make you harsh, it makes you sovereign. This teaching matters because the world constantly pulls at you. Work wants your attention, the family wants your presence, friends want your energy, social media wants your mind. If you don't guard your access carefully, you become exhausted, resentful, and easy to manipulate. When you reclaim control over who can reach you, interrupt you, influence you, or drain you, you become significantly more stable and significantly harder to sway. But there's an even deeper level of power you must master next. Because even if you limit who has access to you, your silence itself can become a weapon when used correctly. Lesson number 5. Silence is a weapon. Use it wisely. Most people underestimate silence. They see it as weakness, passivity, or awkwardness to be filled. But the Stoics knew the truth. Silence is one of the most powerful tools a person can possess. Silence makes people reveal themselves. Silence makes others uncomfortable enough to speak the truth. Silence protects you from saying something impulsive. And most importantly, silence keeps your power from being scattered. When you stay silent at the right moment, you create space. Space to observe, to understand, and to make decisions without emotional noise. Silence is not emptiness. Silence is control. Use silence when someone tries to provoke you. Instead of reacting, pause. Say nothing. You'll be surprised how quickly the other person becomes unsure, even apologetic. Use silence in arguments. The less you talk, the more the other person exposes their motives, insecurities, and mistakes. Use silence in negotiation. After you state your point, stop talking. Most people fear quiet so much that they rush to fill it, usually giving you what you want. Use silence in texting and messaging. Not every message deserves an instant reply. Not every question deserves an explanation. Not every conflict deserves your voice. And use silence for yourself. Before you make big decisions, take time without distractions. No notifications, no conversations, no opinions. Silence makes your inner voice louder. Mastering silence makes you unpredictable, and unpredictability is power. This matters because every time you speak without thinking, you risk giving away something: your emotions, your intentions, your insecurities, your leverage. Silence prevents this leakage. Combined with boundaries, discipline, and emotional control, silence turns you into someone impossible to manipulate. But silence alone isn't enough. There's one final, brutal Stoic truth that ties everything together. Because none of these lessons will matter unless you first take full responsibility for your inner world. Lesson number 6. Your emotions are your responsibility alone. This is one of the most difficult Stoic teachings to accept, but also the most liberating. Your emotions are your responsibility, no one else's. Most people blame others for how they feel. He made me angry, she stressed me out, they ruined my day. But the Stoic truth is this: other people can trigger emotions, but they cannot create them. The reaction happens inside you, and what happens inside you is your domain, not theirs. This isn't about denying your feelings, it's about owning them instead of outsourcing them. Because the moment you blame others for your emotional state, you give them power over your mind. Start practicing emotional ownership by replacing blame with awareness. Instead of saying, "You made me angry," say, "I felt anger when this happened." Instead of saying, "They stressed me out," say, "I allowed that situation to affect me." This tiny shift rewires your brain to stop seeing yourself as a victim of the world and start seeing yourself as the operator of your inner world. Next, give your emotions names. If you feel anxious, don't just react. Pause and say, "This is anxiety." Naming the emotion separates you from it, giving you room to respond rationally. And finally, practice emotional responsibility through action. If you're irritated, take a walk. If you're overwhelmed, step away. If you're sad, sit with it without self-judgment. If you're angry, don't act. breathe. The goal isn't to eliminate emotions, it's to stop letting them drive the car. This teaching matters because it is the foundation of inner power. Everything you've learned so far, controlling reactions, focusing on actions, setting boundaries, using silence, depends on your ability to manage your emotional world. When your emotions belong to you, no one can manipulate you, no one can provoke you, no one can steer your life. This is where Stoic strength becomes unstoppable. Lesson number 7. Never react emotionally first. This teaching is simple but brutally hard to master. Never let your first response be an emotional one. Stoics believe that the moment you react from emotion, anger, fear, embarrassment, insecurity, you lose control of the situation and surrender your power to whatever triggered you. In plain language, this lesson means pause before you respond. That pause is where your real strength lives. Because emotional reactions feel natural, but they are almost never accurate. They're impulsive, they're biased, and they almost always make the situation worse. So how do you actually do this? The trick is not to suppress your emotion, but to delay your reaction. For example, when someone insults you, most people fire back or get defensive. Instead, take one deep breath and respond with silence or a calm question like, "What makes you say that?" Suddenly, the power shifts. Or when you get a message that annoys you, don't reply immediately. Wait 10 minutes. Let the emotional wave pass, then respond with logic instead of heat. Even in everyday life, traffic, rude people, unexpected problems, your first job is to slow down your instinct to react. The moment you pause, you're no longer controlled by the situation. You're controlling it. This matters because emotional reactivity is the fastest way to give away your power. Anyone can push your buttons if your buttons are exposed. But when you pause before reacting, you send a message to yourself and others that you're the one in command. And in the bigger picture of these 8 Stoic teachings, this is the foundation. You can't build discipline, boundaries, or self-control if you're still letting emotions hijack your mind. This teaching alone can change your life. But if you don't pair it with the next one, your emotional control will collapse the moment pressure hits. Lesson number 8. Control what you can, ignore what you can't. This Stoic lesson is the backbone of emotional strength. Divide the world into 2 categories: what you can control and what you can't. Most people mix these up. They spend their energy worrying about the future, stressing about other people's behavior, obsessing over things already done or things that might happen. But the Stoics understood something powerful. Suffering doesn't come from reality itself. It comes from trying to control the uncontrollable. When you learn to separate the two, life becomes radically simpler and your mind becomes dramatically calmer. Start by doing a quick control check whenever you feel stressed, anxious, or overwhelmed. Ask yourself one question: is this within my control? If the answer is yes, act. If the answer is no, release it. For example, you can't control whether someone likes you, but you can control how you show up. You can't control traffic, but you can control your reaction to it. You can't control the results of your efforts, but you can control the work you put in. You can't control the economy, but you can control your financial habits. This approach trains your mind to stop wasting energy. It also helps you avoid emotional spirals, because instead of drowning in what-ifs, you anchor yourself in what now. One simple technique is the 60-second shift. When something triggers you, give yourself 60 seconds to decide: act, accept, or ignore. Anything outside those 3 is wasted life. This teaching matters because it gives you clarity. The clearer your mind becomes, the harder it is for life, people, or circumstances to manipulate you. And when combined with the first 2 lessons, controlling emotions and detaching from outcomes, you become almost unshakable. But even with this clarity, there's a hidden internal force that can still sabotage you. If you don't master the next lesson, your emotions will quietly take control from the inside. Conclusion. When you step back and look at all 8 lessons as a whole, a clear pattern emerges. The world becomes easier the moment you become harder to shake. Not colder, not emotionless, just unmanipulable. Each Stoic teaching you've just learned is a piece of armor, designed to protect your mind, sharpen your judgment, and strengthen your inner world. Together, these principles form a kind of internal sovereignty, a state where you are no longer pulled around by other people's opinions, moods, or expectations. And that is what makes someone dangerously smart. Not because they dominate others, but because they cannot be dominated.